Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to predict on the 8-game NBA main slate on Saturday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL and XFL DFS. I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment up the video. So it started with my Monday NBA video at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout this week. We'll end my Monday NBA video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. If I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. And yeah, winner receives $20 PayPal from myself. With that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So first look back at my lineup here from Friday night. Friday was one of the more tilting days in NBA for sure. So I talked about a lot of those guys up top that I liked in that 8K range. So it was Jason Tatum, who was really solid, 51 fantasy points at 8.1K. Porzingis, foul trouble the whole game, only played 20 minutes, had 30 fantasy points in 20 minutes, but he could not keep his hands to himself. I think he played 10 first half minutes, had 3 fouls, picked up his 4th foul early. It was super, super frustrating because he was crushing it. And yeah, only played 20 minutes. If he plays his normal 35 minutes, he would have blown that salary out of the water. But that's how it goes sometimes. Another guy I talked about really liking, Embiid, had a double-double, I think 10, 10, and 3, a couple blocks and a steal in like 15 minutes, and he gets injured. I'm like, I didn't end up playing him, but man, like that sucks if you played him. He was on pace to just have a huge game as well at 8.5K. Other guys I liked, Devin Booker had, I believe, over 50 fantasy points in 3 quarters. That Rockets-Suns game turned into a blowout. DeAndre Ayton was solid. He was dealing with a little bit of foul trouble as well, but did not play the 4th quarter either. And then, who else? There's one other guy. Porzingis, Tatum. Well, I can't think of it right now. But then James Harden also did not see any 4th quarter run, blowout. That was super, super tilting because that game had a lot of upside. Again, we had Booker over 50 fantasy points. It seems like Booker and Ayton, like they can't have a big game together. It's either one or the other goes off. Ayton, I think, had like 28 fantasy points in 3 quarters. He was dealing with a little bit of foul trouble. If he gets his 4th quarter run, he probably gets close to like 40 or so. But yeah, and then as far as value guys go, Kendrick Nunn and Goran Dragic, the 2 Miami guards with Jimmy Butler out. They were both solid. I expected a little bit more, to be honest. But yeah, Miami, I think, only scored 97 points. It was a pretty low-scoring game. I'm perfectly fine, playing both those guys, though. Like I said, Miami was really, really short-handed. Those 2 guys were a part of my core. Also, Enes Kanter is part of my core. I know it was chalk, but against Atlanta, starting center, I think he's 4.4. 37 fantasy points. He was really good. Thon Maker ended up going with him. Detroit was really, really short-handed. I talked about liking him the most for his salary. Also talked about Wood and Reggie Jackson. Wood crushed it. I think he got like 35 minutes, which is good to see that Christian Wood got huge minutes. But yeah, Thon Maker at mid-price, 33 fantasy points. Other guys I talked about, Kelly Olynyk, little disappointing here. Just didn't get the minutes. Only played 19. They played some of those rats out the bench a little bit more than Kelly O, which is a little bit frustrating. But other guys I talked about in like the mid-price range, like Harry Giles started. He didn't play big minutes, but I think he got close to 20 fantasy points. Caleb Swanigan, I think, got over 20 fantasy points. So those are all value guys I brought up at like mid-price. But yeah, didn't end up hitting the cash due to, had some foul trouble, some injuries, some blowouts. It was a really, really tilting slate for sure. But let's hope for some better luck in this 8-game slate on Saturday. Oh, also, if you guys are interested in XFL, my video for the XFL 4-game slate is already up on my channel, so be on the lookout for that. Or you can watch that video. It's up on my channel. I uploaded that last night. All right, let's talk about some NBA here. Let me go to basketball, NBA. I believe there's one early game not included on the main slate. Yeah, Bucks, Magic's not included on the main slate. But we got 8 games here that are included. Mavs, Hornets sitting at 214. The Mavs are 4.5-point favorites. We have the Knicks and the Pistons 214 as well. Knicks are 1-point favorites. Nets and the Raptors 221. The Raptors favored by 6. Pelicans, Pacers 227.5. The Pacers are favored by 2. The Clippers and the Timberwolves 231.5. Clippers are 8.5-point favorites on the road. Lakers, Golden State 223. Lakers are 14-point favorites. Golden State could be really, really shorthanded. Denver and Phoenix 218.5. Denver favored by 3.5 points. And then Spurs, Kings 223 with the Spurs 2.5-point favorites. So we will start with center. You got Karl-Anthony Towns at the top of 10-5 is fine. He really hasn't flashed huge upside since returning. He probably plays big minutes. He looked just lethargic out there against Atlanta. He was really chalk. I played him. He was a big letdown to a lot of people that night. He's going to be pretty low owned, I think, because he burned a lot of people. I'm okay taking a shot in GPPs, but I think I like the upside a little bit more with Jokic at a similar price. We have Anthony Davis at 10.3 listed as probable. Really good spot here against Golden State. The concern is Golden State is super, super shorthanded. No D'Angelo Russell. They traded away Burks and Glenn Robinson. Draymond Green is questionable. They're going to be very, very thin. So it's going to be like a G League team. So that's the risk playing these Lakers guys is they only play 3 quarters. But if Golden State can keep this close, you could see a big game from AD. Gotta like Jokic here at 10.2. I know Paul Millsap is coming back. We do have Jamal Murray back too, but Will Barton is out. Either way, this is DeAndre Ayton, not a very good defender at all. And I still think Jokic probably gets 35 or so minutes, even with Paul Millsap playing. So I love Jokic here to spend up. He's been crushing it, right? 82, 69, 79 fantasy points. So he's probably going to be pretty popular tonight. I could see pivoting off him for ownership, but I really like the spot here. And Paul Millsap coming back, I don't think that affects his minutes too much, maybe like a few less. Sabonis at 9.5, love the spot here. I just think he's priced about right. So he's perfectly fine for GPPs. I don't think he's a priority, though, for cash games. For cash games, I would much prefer getting to Jokic for a little bit more than Sabonis, but that doesn't make Sabonis out of play here. We know the Pelicans played a really fast pace. Been talking about that all year. So, yeah, I do like Sabonis, but only for GPPs. DeAndre Ayton at 9.1. Again, he had 28 fantasy points in 24 minutes. So he's dealing with a little bit of foul trouble. We know Denver does run big, right? Jokic, Millsap, they have Jeremy Grant. So Ayton's probably going to have to play big minutes. There is some foul trouble risk, though. Jokic is obviously aggressive offensively, so there's a chance Ayton gets in some foul trouble. If he doesn't, I think he probably gets 35-plus minutes. So, I think he is in play, but only for GPPs. Again, I would just, for cash games, I would much prefer getting Jokic than Ayton for like $1,000 less. Porzingis at 8.7. I'm going right back to the well here. I know, trust me, the foul trouble issue, it was super, super tilting. 21 minutes, 30 fantasy points. He would have crushed if he would have played 35 minutes. Charlotte's a team I'm not scared of defensively. The only downside really is they played a slow pace, but I love Porzingis here at 8.7. I'm going back to the well. I understand if you don't want to because he burned a lot of people with that foul trouble issue, but if he gets his normal minutes, he's going to crush that salary. So as long as he stays out of foul trouble, as long as he doesn't get injured, I think Porzingis could have a really good day there at 8.7K. Julius Randle at 8.5, I think is definitely doable here. No longer like a cheap option, but this game should two bad teams going up against each other, two teams that don't play a whole lot of defense. You could run a little game stack here, run like a Julius Randle, Alfred Payton, Reggie Jackson, Christian Wood game stack. I think that's pretty solid. Now, I don't know if I get to him at cash games here. 8.5 seems priced about right. I would prefer getting to Jokic. I would prefer getting to Porzingis for cash over Julius Randle. So that doesn't make Julius Randle out of play. Again, that GPP game stack, that mini stack I just talked about, Alfred Payton, Randle, Reggie Jackson, Christian Wood, maybe throw like a Thon Maker value play in there. I think that's very, very doable. Pascal Siakam, 8.2K. We do have Kyle Lowry listed as doubtful right now, so that's a little bit of a boost to Siakam. I think he is certainly in play. I might prefer Serge Ibaka for a little bit less, but Siakam is definitely viable in a good spot. We do have Zion listed at 7.6K. We also have Brandon Ingram listed as questionable. Let me go to Brandon Ingram. Yeah. So Brandon Ingram is questionable for this game. This is pretty big news. Brandon Ingram's a pretty high usage guy in that offense. If he can't go, that's a huge boost to these Pelicans. I know it's not necessarily the best spot here against Indiana, but like Zion, Drew, Lonzo, they would all get a pretty big boost here. So I think Zion's fine if Ingram plays. If Ingram misses, then I would consider these Pelicans a lot more here. Let's see. Oh, right, center. Okay. Aldridge is 7.1. I think it's in a pretty solid spot here. He had a big game there against Portland. You always seem to want to play him against Portland in their revenge spot. But, yeah, we have Sacramento right now. Holmes is questionable. They don't really have a whole lot of other bigs, right? So Giles started. He's not going to play big minutes. They're going to run Bielitsa a lot at the 5. I think Aldridge could have a really good game in this spot if Holmes can't go. So, yeah, someone I'm definitely considering here in the mid-range. I think he's a pretty safe option with upside if if Holmes can't go, right? Now, Ibaka, I really like at 6.9K. Played 40 minutes that last game against the Pacers. He's been playing really well last couple games. 34, 40 minutes, 44, 40 fantasy points. We do have Kyle Lowry doubtful. We know Brooklyn runs big with Allen and DeAndre Jordan. So I do like Serge Ibaka a good amount. I know that price is coming up, but I still like him. I think he should be priced around 8K. So I think he's still about $1,000 too cheap. I really like Ibaka. I also have a good amount of interest in Christian Wood. Now, we don't know John Henson's status right now. Henson, Brandon Knight, those two guys they acquired from the Andre Drummond trade. They missed the game last night because they weren't. I don't think they were eligible yet. So I don't know if they're going to be eligible to play tonight. That is something to keep an eye on because if Henson is eligible to play, that's going to mean less minutes for Wood, less minutes for Thon Maker. If those two guys can't go, if they're not available, then the Pistons are probably going to run like an 8-9-man rotation. Wood, Thon Maker are going to play big minutes. So this is also kind of dependent on John Henson news. Now, I don't think John Henson playing is going to affect Wood too much. I think maybe his minutes go down to like 30 or so. But he is going to be him and Reggie Jackson are going to be like the main catalyst in this offense going forward. So I do have a good amount of interest in Wood here. If Henson misses, that would be even a bigger boost to him. Let's see, Rashawn Holmes, yeah, not ready for Friday. So we'll see what his status is for Saturday. If he's available to play, then that's a slight tick down to Aldridge. Would obviously take Giles out of play. Montrezl Harrell, his minutes are down. He's only playing about 25 or so minutes. I think he's okay, but I like him more when he's playing 30-plus minutes. Allen and DeAndre Jordan always, they're splitting the 7 minutes. I just don't really think one stands out here. We do have Jeremy Grant, I believe, probable, but Paul Millsap is back. So that means I assume Jeremy Grant's going to come off the bench. And I think he'll probably play a lot of the backup 5 as well. So something to keep an eye on here, with what they do with the starting lineup. They could, I guess, always just bring Millsap off the bench and still play Jeremy Grant big minutes. So if Jeremy Grant starts, I still have some interest there, 5.6. We have Marquise Chris, 5.5. Golden State is super, super thin. I think I would prefer getting to the really cheap guys on Golden State, though. Guys like Jordan Poole, a guy like Kai Bowman, if he's going to start, right? So we don't know what Golden State's lineup's going to be. They signed a couple guys, I think, from the G League. Don't know if they're going to be available. There's a lot of question marks here in Golden State. Marquise Chris, I still think he probably gets about 25 or so minutes, but I would prefer getting to the value for Golden State than paying 5.5K for Chris. Let's see. Other options here. I think Miles Turner's okay at 4.7. Not a guy that's huge upside, but I get it if you want to go there for like a cash game play. We probably get close to 30 minutes from him. The upside games from him are when Sabonis misses. So I don't think he's going to have a huge upside game unless he has like a 5 or 6 block game. That's when he's going to have like a 30-plus fantasy point game, in my opinion, was when he has to kind of get those blocks. So I'm fine with Turner. Don't think he has immense upside unless he gets like a big block game. Zubac at 4.6. Probably going to be asked to play some. He's been playing more minutes, and Harrell's been playing less. And we know Minnesota, are going to play Karl-Anthony Towns with big minutes. So Zubac, I think, is viable. The thing is 4.6K is getting to the point where that does seem a little bit pricey, but I could still see him having an upside game there. Again, Millsap is probable. We'll see what they do. Maybe they limit him off the bench. Again, I don't think it's going to affect Jokic too much. Jeremy Grant will probably play a few less minutes, but yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on with what they do with the starting lineup. Marc Gasol, I guess he is. There's a chance he could play, and if he does play, that obviously take Ibaka out of play for me. So yeah, my love for Ibaka is if Gasol misses. If Gasol plays, I can't get to Ibaka at that price. So something to keep an eye on here with Gasol's status. If he plays and is going to start, I would like him a good amount here, 4.3. So yeah, we got to keep an eye on there. Marc Gasol's status. Trey Lyles, I know he had a big game the last time out. I'm not chasing that. Now, PJ Washington, surprisingly, I do like a good amount here at 4.2K. He did not start that last game, only played 24 minutes. We do have Cody Martin, who started for him, is actually out. So, and Marvin Williams had a buyout. So Charlotte is a couple less bodies there. And I'd assume PJ Washington starts. I assume we probably get around 30 minutes from him. If that's the case, I do like him a good amount here, 4.2K as a value option. We do have some other guys questionable right now for Detroit, right? Markieff Morris, if he's available to go, that would be less minutes for Wood, Thon Maker, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. Hernan Gomez has actually been decent off the bench, getting about 20 or so minutes. I think he's a viable punt option. Let's see, Len. Yeah, okay, so he's not going to be available for those games for Sacramento or tonight. Let's see, John Henson, yeah, so this is something to keep an eye on, right? He was not available to play Friday. If he's available to play Saturday, that's a slight downgrade to Wood, Thon Maker. If he's available and starts, I would like him a good amount of 3.7, so we got to keep an eye on John Henson's status. Other options here in the cheap range, Thon Maker, right? So I played him last night. He was big, 34 minutes, 33 fantasy points. I would go right back to the well, especially if John Henson can't go. Now, even if John Henson plays, I think we probably get decent minutes from Thon Maker. I think we probably get 20, 25 minutes from him. And at min price, or basically min price, that is too cheap. So I do like Thon Maker a good amount there, 3.3K. I don't mind going right back to the well, especially if John Henson can't go. Harry Giles, he's just not going to get the big minutes, right? He's good when he gets time. He started, only played 14 minutes, had 18.25 fantasy points. I guess you can consider him for a guy that's probably going to get 15 minutes if Holmes is out, but I would much prefer getting to Thon Maker there, who's going to play more minutes. And I think that basically wraps it up. Kevon Looney, I got, like, Golden State is, especially if Draymond can't go, like, they're going to be really, really short-handed. So I guess I wouldn't hate the idea of going to Kevon Looney there, 3.2. Let's move on to power forward. Already talked about a lot of these guys at the top here. Yeah, Brandon Ingram, this is big news. If he can't go, big boost to Zion, big boost to Drew, Lonzo. Those guys that have a lot more interest in if Ingram is not available. Kelly Oubre, 7.3K. I think he had 58 fancy points, 39 real-life points in 3 quarters. I guess he got a little bit of fourth quarter run, though, if he played 36 minutes. Yeah, he's always someone viable for GPPs. I think I would prefer paying a little bit extra for Booker and Ayton, but I get it if you want to go Oubre here. It's not really the best spot, but he does have upside. He's playing really well recently. Miles Bridges, another guy who's been getting big minutes, 34, 37, 35, 39 minutes. He's being really productive. So I'm actually okay with Bridges even at elevated price. I just don't know if he can keep up this level of production. But if he's going to continue to play close to 40 minutes, I think you have to have interest in him at 6.2. TJ Warren is up in the air right now. He missed the game tonight. We do have Victor Oladipo already out, so there could be some value plays here for Indiana. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, so Bjelica, he played big minutes, 37 minutes the last game against Miami. He played a lot of small ball 5. If Holmes can't go again, I think we probably get some good minutes from Bjelica. So 5.5K, I would like him a decent amount if Holmes is not available. Eric Pascal is a guy that, especially if Draymond can't go, I think he's going to play big minutes at 5.2. I think he's a pretty solid play here in the mid-range for Golden State. OG has been very, very up and down. Like he's got a pretty low floor right now. He's got like a literally 5 fancy point floor in 28 minutes, but also does have upside when he plays well. We do have Kyle Lowry doubtful, so that is a little bit more usage to go around. I'm okay taking a shot, but no, the floor is pretty low there in OG. That basically wraps it up for power forwards. Let's move on to small forward. LeBron, kind of the same analysis with Anthony Davis. Good spot against Golden State for sure. It's just, do you feel confident Golden State keeping this close, right? That's the big question mark there. Kawhi Leonard, 9.8, another game that does have some blowout risk. Minnesota, pretty short-handed. 8.5-point spread. Kawhi at 9.8, I think, is fine. I just would prefer getting to Paul George for, about $1,500 less, right? So Paul George, a guy not been playing as many minutes, but I would prefer, if I was going to play one of those expensive Clippers guys, I think I would go to Paul George and just save the money. DeRozan, 8.1, I'll probably pass on. Now, Wiggins, he is questionable. He could make his debut. We'll see. If he can't go, right, Golden State is just going to be super, super short-handed. If he's available to play, he's going to shoot the ball probably like 30 times just because Golden State has no one. So I'm okay, I guess. If you're going to take a shot on AD or LeBron, then you're banking on the fact this game stays close. And if this game stays close, probably because of Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, you guys know my hatred for Wiggins. I'm not a Wiggins guy at all, but I get it. If you're taking a shot on one of those Lakers guys, maybe run it back with Wiggins if he plays. Let's see. Other options here. Again, Draymond, he's questionable. I don't think I pay $7K for him, even if he is available to play. But if he misses, I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. So that is something to keep an eye on for sure. LeVert has been playing pretty solid here with no Kyrie Irving. 32-27 minutes, 49-39 fancy points. So he's starting to take over, playing well, getting peripheral stats. I'm fine with him, even at 6.3K. Yeah, he has been really, really, really playing well with no Kyrie there. Marcus Morris is now on the Clippers. We don't know if he's going to be available here. I can't pay 6.3K for him, though. Let's see. Yeah, Barton is out. That's a little bit more usage ground for those Denver guys. Buddy Hield. So my issue with the Sacramento guys is the minutes have not been high on them, right? 23, 26, 30, 20. We got 36 minutes. Now, the main guys got extended there. Fox, Hield, Bogdanovich, Bjelica all played big minutes. So I don't know, right? Can we expect this to continue? Who knows? If I knew these Sacramento guys like Hield, Bogdanovich, Bjelica, Fox has been playing big minutes no matter what. But those three guys, if I knew they're going to play 35 minutes tonight, I would like them a lot. So this is a situation where I don't know just because the minutes have been all over the place. But if we're going to get minutes into the mid-30s for some of these guys, like Hield, Bogdanovich, Bjelica, they look really appealing at their price tags. Tim Hardaway Jr. 2-score independent for me at 5.6. Just did have 7 assists that last game. More of an outlier, though. Yeah, I would just not super excited about that. I would prefer to spending up a couple or 3,000 more for Porzingis. Damian Lee, one of the few available guys here for Golden State. I think he's going to have to do a lot more offensively, but 5.5K, right? I think, personally, I would rather take a shot on the cheaper guys. Guys like Jordan Poole, a guy like Kai Bowman if he starts, right? So, yeah, we got to see what Golden State does with their starting lineup. Hart, I think him, J.J. Redick would get more minutes if Ingram can't go. So those would be guys I'd have a little bit more interest in. Bogdanovich, you got him, Hield, Bjelica, all played big minutes. 36 for Bogdanovich. If I knew those three guys are going to play 35 minutes again tonight, I would like all three a lot. I would probably play 2 of those 3 guys, but we just don't know. So it's a tough situation. He has gotten 31. He did get 31 minutes the last game, so yeah, I'm a little bit torn here. I really like these Kings guys if they are going to get those minutes into the 30s. Bruce Brown's viable, 5.2. Had a really bad shooting night, but him, Brown, Reggie Jackson have to do a lot offensively. I think I would just prefer getting to Wood and Reggie Jackson, though, compared to Bruce Brown. Let's see, other options here. Not a whole lot. No, we do have Pat Beverly out. So Landry Shamet will get some run at point guard. We'll probably get maybe Lou Williams start at point guard. So this is something to keep an eye on. I would have some interest in whoever starts, whether it be Shamet, whether it be Lou Williams. A guy like Justin Holiday, we have Victor Oladipo out and T.J. Warren questionable. So if T.J. Warren can't go, I think we probably get about 25 or so minutes from Holiday. Now, he's another guy that does have a pretty low floor, but this is an up-tempo game, and he's played well last couple games. So I would at least consider him there, 4.4, if Warren's not available. Other options here, okay, yeah, Jordan Poole, 3.8K. So he played 27 minutes at 29 fantasy points. Golden State is going to be really, really thin. No Burks, no Glenn Robinson. They're shipped out of town. D'Lo also traded. Draymond questionable. They're going to have very, very few guys available. So I would prefer taking a shot on the cheaper guys like Poole, a guy like Bowman, compared to like a Marquise Chris, like a Damian Lee. So, yeah, if Poole's going to start there at 3.8K, I would like him a good amount. And Jacob Evans, another guy, no longer. Him and Spellman also shipped out. So, Golden State is really, really thin. So, yeah, I do like a lot of those cheap guys for Golden State. I'm interested to see what they do with the starting lineup, though. I think that about wraps up, though. Courtney Lee, he started that last game, played 17 minutes. There's just no way I can play Courtney Lee. All right, so let's move on to shooting guard. At the top, we have Devin Booker, 8.3K. So it seems like it's either Booker or Ayton that have the big game, right? They're kind of switching off back and forth. So if I'm making a lineup and say I want to stack this game, I don't think I play Booker and Ayton together right now. It just seems like they're going back and forth with big games. So if I was to stack this game, I'd play probably one of Booker, Ayton, maybe like a Oubre, and then run it back with like a Jokic. I think that's a solid game stack. But yeah, Devin Booker was crushing it in 30 minutes, 50 fantasy points. Didn't see any fourth quarter action. He could have had 70 fantasy points if this game would have stayed close. He's 8.3K. Now, this is not necessarily the best spot against Denver. We have a healthy Gary Harris, who's a pretty solid defender. But, yeah, the upside is still here for Booker. And if you want to game stack that, right, if you want to play Jokic, I think running back like Booker and like a Oubre or Rubio, something like that, is not a bad idea. Dinwiddie, 7.8K. So he's been deferring a little bit to Karis LeVert. I don't know. With no Kyrie, he does have upside, but I don't think I can get to him right now. Now, Fred VanVleet, I like a lot here at 6.9K. No Kyle Lowry. This is one of my favorite plays. He's playing big minutes. Good spot here against Brooklyn. I really like Fred VanVleet. I think he's one of the top plays of the day here at that price. Let's see, Drew Holiday. So this is kind of dependent on Brandon Ingram news. If he can't go, then I would like those other Pelicans I talked about. Drew, Zion, Lonzo Ball a lot. Derrick Rose, I believe I guess there's a chance he could play. Let's see. We'll see. If he is available to play, that's obviously a big downgrade to a lot of those guys in the Detroit offense. If he can't go, again, Reggie's going to play big minutes. Christian Wood's going to have to do a lot offensively. Terry Rozier at 6.4. We know he's going to play big minutes. I'm fine taking the shot here at this price. He is kind of up and down, but he does have upside. Like he can put up 40, 50 on a really good night. Other options, yeah, Lou Williams. So we have Pat Beverly out. Maybe he starts. If Lou Williams starts at point guard, I would have a little bit more interest. Now, the concern is everyone's healthy, right? Paul George, Kawhi, Montrez. They also have Marcus Morris, another guy that's going to shoot the ball a lot. So that is kind of the concern, is there's a lot of mouths to feed right now in this Clippers offense. Again, those Sacramento guys, Buddy Hield, Bogdanovich, Bjelica. I don't know if we can trust those minutes, but if we get over 30 from those guys, I like them all a lot in an up-tempo game there against San Antonio. Jeremy Lamb, 4.8. It's fine, I guess. I think there's better value options, personally. RJ Barrett, I believe they brought him off the bench. Yeah, they kind of limited his minutes. If he starts, I would have some interest, but if they're going to continue to kind of ease him into it off the bench, I'd probably pass. Yeah, so J.J. Redick, right, him, Josh Hart, they would get more minutes if Ingram can't go, so those value guys I would consider. Torrey Craig did start that last game, but we do have Paul Millsap back, so I'm intrigued to see what Denver does with the starting lineup. If Torrey Craig starts, I guess I'd have some interest. He's a pretty low usage guy, but I could see him getting some good run. Terrence Davis, another one of my favorite plays here, 3.8K. So 28, 27, 25 minutes last few games, and we have no Kyle Lowry. He is a guy that does have upside, right? He put up 31 real-life points that game against Chicago, had a really good game last night, 17, 8, and 2. I would assume they start him, but you just never know. They like getting Patrick McCaw minutes. He's at 3.2. Not a guy that has upside. But yeah, if Terrence Davis starts, I would like him a lot. Even if he comes out the bench, I think he probably gets 25, 30 minutes. So I do like him a good amount there. Again, I do like Poole because Golden State is super, super short-handed. Cody Martin out. I think that's more minutes for Miles Bridges, for P.J. Washington, who I talked about. Svi Mikhailuk's status is up in there. Another guy that, if he comes back, would take a hit to some of those other Detroit guys. I think that wraps it up for shooting guard, though. So let's move on to point guard. Again, Doncic still out. That's why I like Porzingis a lot. Kyrie's still out. D'Angelo Russell is a game-time decision right now with that quad injury. If he can't go, then we can, unfortunately, going to have to consider some of those cheap Minnesota guys. So I'll kind of what I'll do here is, at the end of this video, I'll go over the Golden State guys, the active players, then I'll go over the Minnesota guys, the active players, and kind of talk about it. Because there are some interesting Minnesota value plays that would be viable if D'Angelo Russell can't go. Fox at 8K is certainly in play. He's just priced accordingly, right? He's been playing the big minutes, but if Hield, Bogdanovich, and Bjelica are going to get 35 or so minutes tonight, I would like all three of those guys a lot. Fox is okay, but again, his price is up. Kyle Lowry, doubtful. That's why I really like Fred VanVleet. That's why I really like Terrence Davis. Also have interest in Ibaka, especially if Marc Gasol can't go. Alfred Payton's price is up, but I could see going into him. He did have 7 steals. That's more of an outlier game. So I think it's more of a GPP option, right? I talked about that potential game stack, like Alfred Payton, Julius Randle, Christian Wood, Reggie Jackson, maybe a Thon Maker's value play. I think that's doable. Now, there's a lot of question marks right in the Detroit side. Like some of the guys, if they end up playing, that would take a hit to Reggie, Christian Wood. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye on the injury news for sure, especially with the Detroit side. Lonzo Ball, 7.2K. I think it's definitely in play, especially if Ingram can't go. It's a little bit more usage to go around. Again, you guys know I really like Fred VanVleet. Reggie Jackson, 6.6. If all those guys are out once again for Detroit, I think you can go to him, who's played 34, 33 minutes, shot the ball 24 and 18 times. Yeah, him, Christian Wood are going to be the main catalyst in this offense. So I do like both those guys if all those, Markieff Morris, Steve Mikhailuk, Derrick Rose, if all those guys can't go. Malcolm Brogdon, I have some interest in as well, 6.5. Really good spot, 31, 34, 36 minutes. This is a spot I could see him having an upside game. We have no Oladipo, possibly no TJ Warren as well. So I think Malcolm Brogdon is a pretty solid play here in the mid-range. There's a lot of solid mid-tier plays. Those Toronto guys, right? Fred VanVleet, Ibaka, Malcolm Brogdon, some other guys I've talked about. So yeah, I do have a good amount of interest there in Brogdon. Let's see. Jamal Murray, I really like here as well, 6.1. Played 43 minutes that game against Utah. Now, they were super, super short-handed, but he's not on a minutes limit. And he's 6.1K in an up-tempo game against Phoenix. I know Paul Millsap's back. Doesn't really affect him too much, in my opinion. We have Will Barton out. That's more usage to ground. I love Jamal Murray. One of my favorite plays here at 6.1K. I think you can definitely pair him with Jokic and run like a game stack if you want, or run it back like a Booker or Oubre, right? Rubio, 5.6. Was doing pretty solid, actually. 24 minutes, 22 fancy points, but the game blew out. I'm okay with him. Not super, super excited. I like the upside more on like Jamal Murray. I like the upside more on Malcolm Brogdon, Reggie Jackson, Fred VanVleet. Those guys are getting $1,000 more. I just like the upside a lot more on those guys. Monte Morris probably can't do it. Did play big minutes, but they were super, super short-handed. Played 42 minutes. I would just much prefer getting to Jamal Murray. Other options here at right, so Pat Beverly out. If he, I think Shaman or Lou Williams, one of those two will probably start at point guard. McLaughlin is a guy that I would consider if D'Angelo Russell can't go. He played 31 minutes off the bench, had a really solid game. I think if D'Lo can't go, maybe they start him. So something to keep an eye on there for sure. I think a guy like Aaron Holiday is going to get some more run with no TJ Warren, but his minutes have been down a bit. I'm okay with him, I guess. All right, so let's talk about Golden State and Minnesota before I get out here. So first, Minnesota, right? We have D'Angelo Russell questionable. We don't know if Jacob Evans, Spellman, Beasley. There's a lot of guys that are just like up in the air, right? Vanderbilt, Hernan Gomez, Layman, James Johnson, Beasley, Spellman, Jacob Evans. These are all guys we don't know if they're going to be available for this game, so we got to keep an eye on this stuff. If like a lot of these guys are available, that just takes all of Minnesota out of play for me. But if like all these guys are out, then Minnesota will be pretty shorthanded. Then we can consider like McLaughlin, like a Koji, and like Culver. Those are got like Keelan Martin. Those are all guys we can consider if like all these guys are end up not available to play. And then on the Golden State side, they are just super shorthanded, right? No Steph Curry, obviously. Andrew Wiggins status up in the air. Draymond Green status up in the air. If those guys can't go, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 available players on Draftkings. Now, I don't know if those G League guys that I signed are going to be available to play. We'll see. But yeah, they could have legit a 7-man rotation here. And if that's the case, like I would just prefer getting to these cheap. I think my favorite plays would be Bowman, Jordan Poole, just because of their prices, right? And then Pascal 5.2. But you can make an argument for Damian Lee or Chris. So Golden State could be really shorthanded. I would prefer taking some shots on those cheaper guys. But yeah, something to keep an eye on for sure. There's a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, right? The Golden State guys, the Minnesota guys. There's a lot of questionable players. So we do have to keep an eye on that injury news. But I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe. Again, if you want to get into the giveaway, all you have to do is like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be available to live stream for this game, but I'll do my best to update you guys on Twitter. So it is important to follow me on Twitter, guys. That is in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as we get this news throughout the rest of the day. So yeah, good luck, guys. Hopefully we get no foul trouble, no injuries, and no blowouts in this slate, but that's a big if. So yeah, good luck, guys. Hope you guys all won some money, and I will see you all later.